What is up, world? You are in tune to Marvelous Talk, and I got all of the homies with me tonight. We got Mad Max. What's up, Max? How you doing,
What's up,
man?
man? Happy to be back. What's up? What's up, everybody?
Oh man, we happy to have you. We got also Big G. What up, G?
What's cracking lacking to the Marvelous fans out there, man? Good to be back and good to have the squad in the building, baby. So let's get it in.
Yeah, man. We got Elijah. Mr. Elijah McNeil, what's good, man? What's cracking?
It is great to have the full roster of the Marvelous Talk podcast. We're going to have a great episode today. Can't wait to get into it today.
Yeah, man, it's about that. We about to be about that life. We missed the energy of Max being here for the review of She-Hulk. We're gonna get into that, but before we do, man, make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch, so that when we go live, man, you can definitely get those notifications and know that we here and we get it cracking. But Max, man, let me ask you, She-Hulk, what'd you think, man? What was the final verdict on She-Hulk, bro?
I think it was a lot like everything else in Phase 4, where it kind of was trying to be setting a new bar, and it might not necessarily have been the best, but it was different, and I think Marvel needs a little bit of different. So I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was just different, and I liked it. It was cool to see Kevin Feige, the Kevin, whatever they want to call that thing, Kevin 2.0, has a hat on. That was a really cool play on Kevin Feige. So it was interesting to see. I'm interested to see where we're going to go with the Hulks, and we got Harrison Ford coming down the road as Red Hulk, which is crazy.
Crazy. So let me ask you, since you brought that up, what do you think about Harrison Ford? What do you think about Indiana Jones playing the Red Hulk? How do you feel about that?
It's just crazy to see Harrison Ford in the MCU when he's just been in Star Wars for so long. It's just crazy to kind of see that.
I think I like it. I was telling G that he got chops. You know what I'm saying? He got acting chops.
Oh, he's
he
an
can
icon.
handle himself.
Yeah, he's an icon.
And it's good to see established actors inside of the MCU. And man, look, so we had the season finale of Andor. We finally got to the robbery, which took forever, by the way, to actually get to the end, to where we saw them. It's just a robbery, quote unquote. I'm gonna let Max dig into that some more, because at the end, I think we all understood what they meant by trying to make it be just a robbery, but the Empire, the rebellion, knowing it's something else. But the episode starts off, again, we're talking to what's my God? Not Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma.
Luthen?
Who?
Luthen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're talking about what's happening, and the two ladies are together, actually, if I'm thinking right. The two ladies were together, and who is this other lady supposed to be? Is that supposed to be Leia?
I don't think that. I don't know. I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks. I don't believe so.
Well, that's supposed to be a young Leia that she was talking to. She's like, yo, you need to find him, tie up our loose ends, because we definitely need to go ahead and get rid of Cassian, right? That was Leia in the red hood? Y'all thought that was Leia?
I think it was, man. I think it was just a deep cut reference, man, because the way that it played out, it's like, who could she be talking to? Who is that?
Yeah, who is that? Who is that?
Yeah.
And then we had my guy who's just hopeless. He started all the stuff before, and his mom is talking to him like, Mom, get the meatloaf. He's definitely, you're gonna wear the brown suit, and she's telling him,
comb your hair, eat your vegetables.
Wipe the sleep out your eyes. Yeah,
he's fallen for sure from the power of position he once had.
Yeah. So Max, what did you think? This is what I want to get. What did you think when he was actually walking with the guy at the place, and he was like, I'm trying to change and clear my name, and he was like, well, let's get started with that. What did you think? What was he referencing? What was he telling him to do?
Well, I think basically, one, nepotism's alive in the Star Wars universe, and that's a joy to see. Two, the events of the first 3 episodes are what's haunting him, where it comes to we chased Andor, we got 4 guys killed for no reason, and then now your whole reputation is tarnished because of it. And they're like, we're just going to edit those details out, which is, a story as old as time when it comes to let's erase the sins of the people in power and stuff. So that's what's happening here.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Cassian goes back home, which I think is a fool's move. He goes back home to see.
Wait. Why you call that a fool's move, man?
Because of the simple fact that it's as a man devoid of his future. So a man returns back to his vomit, like a dog returns back to his vomit, and he literally went back to something.
That's kind of a rough.
Yeah, he never should have. He never should have went back. Why do you trace your steps back to where they can actually find you? They can locate you. You're not a secret anymore.
Right. So just real quick with this. The easiest way to hide is in plain sight. Don't forget that. The easiest way to hide is in plain sight.
You're right.
Keep it rolling.
You're actually right. But when the whole city is got it bad for you, right? There's no need for you to go back. You should have knew. You know what I'm saying? Going back, you're not a hero at this point. You know what I'm saying? You're not a hero. So he goes back and he talks to his friend girl. So talk to me about this. I need to know, what were your feelings about this scene, man? And he breaks off the choke. How'd you feel about this, man?
Guilt. I mean, if I had to summarize that whole scene, it was a play. It was like a chess move, but there was some guilt eating him up too, man. Because you got to think about it. Anytime somebody starts peeling off bread and breaking off bread, there's something going on where he's like, man, maybe I got to do something right to make it right. You know what I'm saying? So I really didn't feel he was trying to peel her off. I felt like it was more or less like a guilt trip. And it's like, let me break you off because, it's sort of the right thing to do, but I really don't want to do it. So if I had to summarize that scene, it was like straight guilt, to me.
Right. I feel the same way, Big G. And Elijah, how'd you feel him going back to talk to his mom? How did that make you feel, him going back to talk to his mom?
It made me feel pretty uneven. For the most part, it was really, I really don't really know for real. This ending didn't really shock me, to say the least. It's been a pretty up and down season. It started off very well, and it's been pretty up and down. And this season finale has been pretty mid for the most part, from what I would have to say.
And how did you feel about him talking to his mother? That's my thing.
I honestly couldn't tell you how feel about that.
I'm gonna ask the same question to you, Max. How did you feel about him going back talking to his mother? Like, why was this necessary for Cassian?
Well, I think he's living in a fantasy that everything's going to be okay, and it's just like, hey, we can escape. I got the money, I got the bread, but I mean, you'll see throughout the episode, the Empire. The episode focuses on Mon Mothma, Luthen, then Andor, and then the Empire's inner workings. And the Empire's inner workings are like, no. This happened. We lost 80 million credits. We're about to become more Empire-ish, or we're going to start.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like they literally took it up a level. They took it up a level, man.
I'm just asking. Do y'all feel almost like it was like, how like when you make Kool-Aid and you got the water and you got the packs of Kool-Aid and you mix them together and you could filter it 98,000 times, but it's still going to be hard to separate from the water from the Kool-Aid. He doesn't really understand the interweavings or the interconnectivity of the Empire into everything now, right? And so there's cells on top of spies, on top of cells, on top of back traders, on top. All of those things are going on, and he just don't see it. You see what I'm saying? Just like how Max said, he's like, I can get us out of this. And it's like, no, bro, It's like you messing with the mafia. Where you going? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
they
a
gonna
mafia,
find you,
but
man. They
there's
gonna
no
find you.
there's a mafia, but there's no fear of illegal doing. It's just like they make the
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah, they
Right,
make they set the trend. Max just talked about the party, the politician, and my mother was talking to the banker who she had went to school with for her whole life, and she was wondering if she could trust him. Now, this whole scene to me was cat and mouse, and it was funny. There's something about the daughter I don't trust. There's something real snakish about the daughter. She's just not some just angry teen walking around. You know, she wasn't an angry teen. I mean, through this whole episode, she was doing something. It was almost like she was different. But my mother understood that her driver had been replaced by a spy, right?
Yeah.
So Max, tell me what is going on at this party, man. Tell me how you felt by seeing this whole party and this whole rendition going down.
I think it's just spycraft, and it's not necessarily the spycraft where it's like breaking in like Cassian does and certain parts of it. It's like you have to be in plain sight, like G said earlier. Like she's in plain sight. She has to expertly maneuver, tell the banker what he wants in presence of her husband, I think, who's the true snake in the grass, who I think would sell her out at a moment's notice for some cheap credits. But she has to move almost invisibly in front of everybody, and it's a real trickery game she's playing where she's trying to hide credit, she's trying to have a rebellion, trying to make it right, but it's just difficult for her.
Yeah, I agree. And also we find out here she's the rich one. He's not. He married into money. She had it, right? So she can't move our family's money around the way that she would want to help the rebellion. So, you know, in doing that, she came up with another idea, and this idea was kind of crafted into another idea. So there was an idea on top of another idea. So while she was working an angle, my guy was working another angle, and we're going to talk about that again. So we get, like I said, we get to this whole party, and the party is just, I mean, it reeks with what Max just said, the spycraft. And I feel like everybody there is working on the agenda. They all have a private thing that because they're politicians, right? So politicians are going to work their own agendas. Mm-hmm. And I think we get to this last little piece right here. And that's her. I want to talk about Lucien and Marmotha, their conversation. And this is what I need for you guys to elaborate on, because I thought this was the most masterful piece of this show. She said it was just a robbery. He said no, it was not just a robbery, right? It was something more. Right. What do you believe that something was? We're not going to take Lucia's word. I want you to tell me, Big G, what do you think this was that happened? Because everybody, even Cassian sees it as a robbery, but it wasn't just a robbery. How do you feel about the whole thing, and what did you see that it was?
Okay, so I'm going to do a parallelism, right? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. The Empire is like the strongest battle chain you ever seen in your life. Like, this thing is like steel on top of metal from different planets on top of whatever, right? The reason why it was something bigger than what it was is it showed that there's a chink in the Empire's armor. And guess what? The rebellion can't get born out of this. This is something that we can actually take these dudes down. It's almost like when Rocky Balboa fought Draco, and like he in there like beating him up, and nothing's hurting Draco, you know. And all of a sudden, Rocky gets that left off, and he cuts his eye, and he's like, "See, he's human. He's human." And then from that point, Rocky was ready to go. So they had to bust the armor to show that, hey, look, the Empire ain't all that, bro. We can get these boys for real. And that's what I picked up on, because he's the only one that saw it. I don't think everybody else did. You know,
it's like an Iron Man 2 with Ivan Vanko, where he says sometimes all you have to do is make God bleed. Yeah. That's what they do.
Yep. It definitely it's an old adage. You know, when the dog barks at the moon, you know, it's not news. But when the moon barks at the dog, that's news. And the
Right, right.
Empire
What
now,
the hell?
yeah,
What?
it's that old answer. And the Empire now is addressing everything because of what
Right.
just happened. The Empire is saying we're getting strict on everything, which showed that we have power now, which
Right.
showed that we exist. You acknowledged our existence. So now we can start rallying people to our aid because they
Right.
see that, oh, wow, this is something bigger than just, you know, this isolated thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Elijah, how did you, what would be your example of this whole scene between Mon Mothma and Lucius?
Pulling a rabbit out of the hat for sure. It honestly came out of nowhere to me, but yeah, going off of what Big G said, yeah, all of that stuff that, yeah, I honestly couldn't really explain what happened because the first watching of it really just went over my head, to be quite honest with you.
I get it. I get it though. I get it because the scene was meant to be. It was meant to be like that. But I thought it was wonderfully written. I definitely thought it was wonderfully written. And then we have the last scene, which Max talked about, which, you know, basically when you start thinking about it, man, it's the truth, bro. Like wherever you go, man, you can't escape it. They're everywhere. So you think, oh man, I got this bread, and you saw he was running out of bread. He only had them little pieces in a gun. You know what I'm saying? He living bad. He going to go get some bread from the store. I mean, it's bad at this point. And so, you know, once he get there, he's all nervous because the Empire's there, and he's like, "Oh man, what's going on?" And he gets caught up in some stuff he ain't even do. But guess what? You can run, you can hide, but the Empire is still the Empire. And even if you did, it's almost like your parents. Even if they didn't get you for the stuff that you did, they got you for something you didn't do. And it's like, you know, you get caught either way. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a certain politician that's in a little bit of trouble right now. I'm gonna stay nameless. There's a certain politician, he's just in a little bit of trouble. And you know, we done let you stretch on out there now. So now, you know, we gonna make sure that we tighten you up. We're gonna tighten you up.
Max, how'd you feel when you saw his robot hem him up to the wall?
I think I was like, is that it, or is there going to be like another robot that comes behind and like sets him free? Because you know they're best of friends in Rogue One, and now he's going to kill him, and then he gets a 6-year jail sentence, and the episode kind of ends on that. You see the Empire there, like you said, shoring it up. You see Deidre kind of just taking over the Empire stuff. It's just crazy to see, man. And there's a lot more to this show, and it hasn't really felt like Star Wars. It feels like a spy thriller. So it's weird to see Star Wars with a spy thriller. There's so many pieces moving on the board, and you're like, who are these people? Like, who's that girl? Like, you need to find them. Like, you see the girl they did it with. You see the girl who they marooned on the job, and it was like, hey, have fun. We just robbed the whole planet. You just
get out there the best way you can.
Yeah.
I mean, that sucks. That really sucks. But so, I'm gonna start with you, Max. Rating 1 to 10. What do you give it?
8. It was solid 8. It could have been better, but they built up a lot of stuff. Next week should be pretty bomb.
Yeah.
G, what do you give it?
I'm about with Max, man. I'm about with Max because, see, you know, it's like the rebellion's got to get built up with somebody. So who's going to join the rebellion? The land of the misfit toys. He need all the convicts, all the people that the Empire is locking up because they done tighten the reins up on everybody. So, like, they're going to be locking people up left and right. So, really, they working against themselves because they're going to push everybody together, you know? And so, like, these jokers going to be in jail plotting. Like, yeah, we're going to hit these boys. I'm the guy that hit them for all that bread. I'm the guy, for real, for real. So, now let's go get it in. Let's go get these boys.
Let's go get it in. Elijah, what you rate this episode?
This is a solid 7. Overall, it was pretty solid. Yeah, it was just pretty solid for the most part. Yeah.
So you guys, thus far, grades thus far, how do you feel about this Andor thus far. If we all of the episodes we've seen leading up to now, Max, what you give it? Real quick.
8.5, bordering on 9. But there's still more to come. I know like they keep talking. They like every 3 episodes is like they say a season finale.
Yeah.
And this was episode what, 7?
Yeah.
6. So
7.
it's the start of the new 3-episode trilogy and all this crazy stuff. So I've liked it a lot. Better than Book of Boba. I honestly think it's better than Obi-Wan too.
Wow.
Ugh.
Okay. I can, but you know what? I agree with you 100%, 110%, Max. 100. I'm riding on that ship. I think it's because it's new, it's fresh, it's different, and we're figuring things out as they come. It makes our mind open up, and you can't just mindlessly look at this. You have to kind of, continue to follow the rabbit hole, as Big G has coined. You have to continue to go down that rabbit hole in order to find find out what's going on, because if not, you're lost. G, to this point, what you give it?
About an 8, between an 8 and 8.1. I like it so far because, like you guys hit on key points, it's really new, and it's old, but it's new. It's a story we don't know, and I think we've talked about that multiple times on the show. Give us the in betweens. Give us the Mace Windu. Give us the stories we don't know. You see what I'm saying? Give us that, and so I think this is setting the precedence moving forward about Star Wars actually looking at people are following a show, and it's a story that you know because you know the timeline. But I want the in betweens. So I give it about an 8.1. 8.1 for sure.
Elijah, what do you give it? Last one.
This may be a little bit more down because the Rogue One movie didn't have as big as an impact on me as the rest of you guys. I'm giving a 7.
Definitely don't know my history, dude.
Well, it's a 7.5. It's 7.5.
God, the Russian judge over here. Jeez.
Really, because 7.5. I do love that the spy thriller thing. It definitely opens a new thing for the Star Wars as like the Mandalorian did the Western stuff. So new avenues to the franchise is always a great thing.
I like it. Well, switching gears a little bit, we're gonna touch on this because we're all things comic books. I know tonight that there was a certain movie that was sold out, but it's getting horrible ratings.
Morbius. Let's go, guys.
Morbius 2.
Morbius 2. It's Morbid time.
I hear for real that it's getting horrible ratings, but it was sold out. It was sold out all the way in Austin. It was sold out in Houston. It's been sold out. There's a lot of people that I know that was like, yo, I'm going to go see it first night. So I'm definitely going to reserve my comments, and I'm going to go see it. I'm going to hold, and say, hey, I mean, because they said that the Eternals was bad. The Eternals was not a bad movie. You know what I mean? It was not a bad movie. So therefore, I'm going to reserve my judgment, and I'm going to get to go see it myself, and we'll talk about it after I go see it myself. But Max, since you called it Morbius, are you going to the movie? That's all I want to know. Are you going to the movies to see it?
I'm not. I've already seen Morbius, but Black Adam I might go see. I don't know, man. I just have just such low expectations for DC, and I'm sure it'll be a Rock movie where he's big. They throw crap at him, he punches back. La la la. Same points are always going to be there. No overarching message, no subtleties, no character development, crappy dialogue. That's what DC is. That's what I've come to expect. They've had 2 home runs: Batman with Robert Pattinson, and the Suicide Squad movie or the Justice League movie that was 4 hours. But that's not realistic, is it? So I don't know. I'm kind of split. I might go, I might not. I'm not really stressing about it.
I mean, Batman with Sparkly Guy was decent.
That was an excellent film. I'll fight anyone who says otherwise.
It was decent. It was really decent.
For sure.
It was really decent. G, movies, yes, no, real quick.
Bro, you know what DC stands for?
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't count. It don't count. It don't count. DC stands for don't count, bro.
Eliza, you going to see it at the movie?
In fact, I am watching the movie tomorrow. So yes,
Okay.
I am watching it tomorrow.
This younger generation, they get sucked into anything. No bro.
No.
Well, guess what? Guess who else may be going to go see it in the morning before work? This guy. Maybe.
This old generation will believe anything they see, guys.
Man.
Me and G are the only non-sheep on the pod, I suppose.
The only thing. Here's the thing.
It's HBO Max for me, buddy. It's HBO Max for me, buddy.
Yeah.
Listen,
that's another avenue. It's another avenue.
Listen, so everybody shut your ears if you're planning on. I don't want to spoil it. Everybody shut your ears if you're watching this on the rewatch. But I heard it was going to be a Kal-El, spotting a sighting on this whole thing, because I mean, who's the only other person that's strong enough to handle this dude? So I want to see how they're gonna do that. Yeah, if
he shows up, it lose 2 points on the rating scale because he ain't saving DC, bro. Get him out of here. The Superman ain't saving.
Here's the thing. I mean, you gotta think about this. They didn't put there was nobody on the scale that they've shown in this movie that's even powerful. And I mean, come on, man.
I don't know what Black Adam's fighting. Is there like a White Adam or something too?
I mean, they haven't necessarily elaborated on.
There's we don't know who. That's what I'm saying. It's nobody powerful enough. I ain't seen nobody powerful enough that can handle him. Only person that will wipe the floor with him is Superman.
Well, you mean Batman would definitely win. He'd have a plan. In 5 weeks.
Okay. He definitely have a plan. Last thing with DC, they are reshooting the Flash. Amazingly, they're reshooting the Flash with the same actor. They've kept the same actor.
Isn't he gonna go to jail for like 30 years?
No.
You would think that would be the case.
But that's not gonna happen. They are actually reshooting the Flash.
No, you know, rich people always beat cases and stuff in this country.
He beat this case, but I don't know how. But he's reshooting that. So Phase 4, man, we've got coming up, man, in just a couple weeks, man, the best movie that we're probably ever gonna see out of Marvel to this point, man. I mean, for real, I'm so excited for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I'm definitely going in my all white gear. I'm going all white shirt, all white pants, all white shoes.
How tacky! It's after Labor Day.
It's a whiteout, bro. Hey, man, it's a funeral. I got to go attend my man's funeral, man. It's going down. T'Challa, man. Wakanda Forever. Listen, in this and we had Werewolf by Night. We had that just come out. We had She-Hulk, and now we have Wakanda Forever. I think that She-Hulk was a bridge. Werewolf by Night was another introductory small bridge. And now we have the last bridge that connects us to the next phase. I believe that not just the end credit scenes, but I believe the whole movie is going to open us up into Phase 5. How are you guys feeling about how Phase 4 is ending? Max, how you feeling about Phase 4 ending, bro?
I mean, I think Phase 4 is going to age well in the sense where I think people are going to come back to Thor, Love and Thunder, and they're going to actually like the movie because it's definitely not the worst Thor. We talked about that.
Right.
People are going to revisit the Eternals and be like, this is actually a really good movie. Yeah, it was a little long and it can be a little winded at times, but you know what? They had to introduce a whole like superhero team in a movie.
Yeah.
Started off with Shang-Chi was one of the best Marvel movies in my book. I'd go top 5. Spider-Man No Way Home, another top 5er. Big G said it was the best movie ever, but when doesn't he say that? So I think what they've done lately is had some misses, and we're just so accustomed to seeing home runs from Marvel. When it's like a double or a triple, it doesn't seem as good. But I also think in Phase 4, the Disney Plus stuff, the Loki, WandaVision, Miss Marvel, which a lot of people did not like, which I really enjoyed.
Loved it.
So I just think this was it kind of left people with a weird taste in their mouth. They're kind of like, do we like this? Do we not like it? I don't know. But I think if we come back in 2 years and talk about it, people are really going to have loved it and be like, dang, look at all this stuff that connects to everything else. Look what they were setting up, all this crazy stuff, the multiverse of madness. Like we saw X-Men on the scene. She-Hulk talked about the X-Men, said it. Yeah. It's got Daredevil back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. as we enter into phase 4, as we leave phase 4, how are you feeling about us leaving phase 4, G?
So if you look at, you got to compare apples to apples. 1 through 3 set it up, right? 4 starts it over. So go back and look at phase 1 and compare phase 1 to phase 4, right? So they ran in avenues that they couldn't repeat the story. So phase 4 gave us the dark side of Marvel, anti-heroes, gods, deities, characters that we thought we'd never see on the big screen: Eternals, Moon Knight, Scarlet Witch, Chthon. I just keep running down character lists, man. You got a new Falcon, and you had changes. Like, characters took over for characters. We already have most of the announcements for phase 5 and some for phase 6. So I think by the time we get to phase 6 and phase 7, not only will we appreciate phase 4, but it might be the biggest game changer. Because, to be honest, even though he ain't hit them all out the park, they ain't all been home runs, they all been blockbusters. And guess what, by the way? Now we have a TV medium that we ain't got to go to the movies and watch the stuff, which there was no, like, Disney Plus getting it in shows until phase 4.
I don't think we talked about, or we didn't mention COVID, because this phase 4 was also the COVID phase where they had to deal with all that stuff. Yep. So, it's not ideal to make the next phase of your franchise in a COVID world. And what you said about the biggest game changer, I think they tried to shoot the furthest shot they could. Like, they went for it all instead of being safe, which I agree with you about.
Yeah.
But you guys, to me, when I start thinking about this, what I see is they learned something in phase 3. The world loves team up.
Yeah.
And because the world loves team ups so much, guess what they're doing? They're giving us every team. They're going out. They're finna give us the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
They're reaching out. They're about to give us Fantastic Four. They're about to give us the X-Men. So it's like the West Coast Avengers, the Young Avengers. They're going and they're giving us every
Scar. We got Hulk's son.
Yeah. So
the Thunderbolts, the Midnight Suns. Thunderbolts,
the
Midnight Suns.
So I think what they did a good job of in phase 4 is realizing what made them money in phase 3, and that was the team up. When they saw the Civil War made them money, and they having more of these jokers inside of the movies, that makes money. So now you can introduce all these boys and stuff them all in the movie, and everybody is going to be like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Now they have done it. So now you have these teams, and I applaud the effort. I applaud the effort for real, because they didn't do it in a corny way. It wasn't corny at all, Max. It wasn't corny at all. G.
No,
I
agree with
corny
you.
at all, Elijah. They brought it to a place to where now, when you put these characters in your face, they've explained how they got there. You know what I'm saying? So they're just not gonna pop up like they would in the DC film. Hey, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, where did you come from, bro? Like, what is this? So I'm excited because they introduced the teams in 4, and I'm excited to see what the teams are going to do. And the last thing that they introduced was monsters. You know what I'm
glad
saying?
you said that. I'm really glad you said that. They introduced the darkness, and it wasn't always like evil darkness. It was like a Moon Knight darkness where he's not a bad guy. Doesn't go about it the right way, though.
Yeah. And monsters are a part of Marvel.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
They're a part of Marvel. It's one of those things that if you don't know Marvel, you don't know that there are monsters in Marvel.
Can I add one more thing before we give it to Elijah? I'm sorry for saying.
Oh,
so
you're
much,
perfectly fine. I like the discourse.
We didn't even talk about What If, which was literally just Marvel's way of rewriting history in front of us.
Right in front of us.
That was like a project. It was such a low-key thing, and I've seen websites talk about What If was whatever. I'm like, you guys are on drugs. What If was a home run success.
Yeah, definitely. Elijah, going into phase 5, leaving phase 4, how do you feel about phase 4?
Phase 4 will always be remembered of laying another groundwork, and not only laying another groundwork, but we see Marvel using different parts of experimentation, not in only their storytelling, but as far as like cinematography goes, as far as
Well,
picking different types of directors or
Absolutely.
people that have like specific visions like Sam Raimi
Yeah.
to
or even
like
the way they
actually
deliver
put
it.
their stamp on these types of films to have their specific flavor and stuff like that.
No,
So
that's excellent.
now you have all different kinds of projects that don't all feel the same, because that was a specific complaint that
That's good, Elijah.
we all had in previous phases, like, oh, a Civil War and all this other stuff feels the same, and they're shot the same, and the color grading is the same. You can't say the same thing about that with WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they look absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like the cinematography shots in Eternals is immaculate,
Yeah.
to say the least. Like every single thing that you can see is dripping with style.
Yeah.
I mean, we complain
Yeah.
so much about how everyone complains about how Marvel movies are all the same, and then we get different ones, and everyone's complaining it doesn't feel like Marvel. So I just
Don't feel like
I
doesn't
disagree
feel
with
like
your
Marvel.
point. I disagree with your point because it's an excellent point, and even the way they delivered the medium to us, the media to us, whether it was through Disney Plus, it was all different. And
Yeah.
people sometimes different doesn't always feel so great, but then you get used to it. Then it's like, oh, the new normal. So we kind of had to adjust, and people were like, I don't want to adjust. I love Marvel. I'll go to the movie every day. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So now we got Black Widow's at our house. We don't have to leave,
Right.
so it doesn't
Even
feel as
how they
special.
even how they switched it up with Werewolf by Night. We were so used to having like series, like where a show comes on and it's 6 episodes, 7 episodes, 8 episodes. They switched it up and ran Werewolf by Night like a CBS special back when me and Ma was kids. I'm telling our age, and because even the title run was like a CBS special, dun, 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 and they had the little colors that flashed in, and then they went black and white, threw back to the freaking Wizard of Oz, and then flipped it on us at the end. So it's like, where did that come from? Who in the world? Because Matt, we talked about it on the show. Everybody was saying Werewolf by Night was a dud. And I kept saying, nah, bro, Werewolf by Night about to knock this bad baby out
It
the
was
park.
such a
And what
it
did
was
it
such
do?
a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
nice
It was a
change of
huge breath
pace,
of
man.
fresh air.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Max? Nice change of pace.
It wasn't like every Marvel product has been similar, where it's hero fight the bad guy, and it was just like it was all monsters. There's no good guy. It's just like someone who's like trying to do something a little different. The way it was
Yeah.
shot, like Elijah said, with the cinematography, that's the most un-Marvel way they've shot a movie ever. It's like a horror movie
Yep.
from the 50s. You and Ma would
Right.
know about that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Little something.
Unbelievable.
You guys have watched like horror movies. I thought.
I referenced that it was a
Not from the
homage to
50s though, bro.
1920s Universal.
Yeah, from the like Roaring 20s. Yeah, 100%. I mean,
So I think, Elijah, you made a great point. That was an awesome point. The cinematography, and then the directors, the directors that they started using for each film. You know what I'm saying? They left the brothers, the Russo brothers. They left them and start getting,
I mean, they could bring them back. They could.
Yeah, what's his name? Tiger Waititi, or what's his name?
Yeah.
Taika
They bought
Waititi,
him. Yeah, they bought him. They bought Sam Raimi. They bought my guy, who bought us Black Panther the first time, and Ryan Coogler, and now he just created this whole other world again, man. And that's the thing I love about it. Shang-Chi had its own world. It had its own feel. It had its own culture. We mentioned Miss Marvel had its own world. It had its own culture. Black Panther had its own world. It had its own culture. So you're getting a chance to see this whole thing come together right in front of you. And I'm going to tell you, you may not have liked it because Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange, it was dark. And I'm going to tell you, it was dark in a way that it was nice. You were like, wow, okay, this is fly. I like this. You know what I'm saying? But so I take my hats off to Phase 4, and definitely I'm excited to see what we have coming here. Parting shots, and I'm gonna start with Big G. Wait.
I have my hand up, bro.
Oh, go ahead. We'll start with Max.
Come on, how dare you?
Start with
No.
Max.
I was gonna say this is my parting shot. I think if we were gonna say Phase 4, it would be called the underappreciated phase, because that's what it is right now, underappreciated.
Yeah,
I like it. G, parting shot.
2 things real quick. I know last week on the show I dropped and told everybody that the game changers are the mid-credits and post-credit scenes for Black Panther 2. I have double confirmation. Another guy, no, not just single confirmation. I got double. I got a guy that's on the inside, right? And what I know, because I can't tell, because if I do, they're gonna copyright strike us off of YouTube. So I can't tell. They
plus, you don't want to ruin other people's experience. G.
I can't do that. I can't
Ruin
do that.
it.
But I know somebody.
Ruin
Just to
it.
say I
Give
know
into
somebody
your hate.
that knows somebody that knows somebody, right? And I'm telling y'all, them mid-credit scenes and post-credit scenes are game changers. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I look for the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special to be just as much as a twist or a flip as Werewolf by Night did to set up things moving forward. Because I think the Guardians, the current rendition of the Guardians that we know, the Guardians title is going to move forward, but they're going to change the game. So I'm looking forward to that, because that comes out literally 7 days after Black Panther. It comes out before Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Sidebar. Was I Am Groot the most useless thing they did?
Yes.
I wouldn't call it useless. I just thought it was like nice little one-offs. But
it's like toilet paper.
It was literally like 3 minutes an episode.
It's like toilet paper. You don't really need it, but it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's just like saying one of the. Come on, I wouldn't say it's useless.
You don't want to wipe your butt with your hand.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Listen. They had to start somewhere and sell it to the little kids. This is Sesame Streetish. You know what I'm saying? They had to. So they had to do Sesame Street. They just sold little kids on Cookie Monster. Oscar the Grouch, Cookie Monster, and Bert and Ernie is I Am Groot. They just sold. That's this generation. So when they get like 10, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I remember I Am Groot. That was my guy." And now I Am Groot's gonna be this big thing. Genius move. It might be pointless, but it's gonna pay big dividends up the road. Trust and believe.
My parting shot before I throw it to Elijah. I just want y'all to know. I keep telling y'all. I don't care what nobody say. They not saving Keanu for anything other. Keanu is gonna be our Dr. Doom, man. And I think when they casted him, they didn't cast him for Mephisto. They didn't cast him for Johnny Blaze. None of that.
Adam Driver.
I'm telling you,
you can see Adam Driver as like someone who was really into himself, then like got scarred, and he's like a psychopath now. I buy it 100%.
Yeah. I'm with you, Max. Yeah,
come on, Kylo.
I believe in my heart of hearts that we are gonna have a Keanu spotting as Doom. That is my parting shot, and I really appreciate again having a full team here this week, man. That's another thing I want to mention. Elijah, parting shot.
My parting shot is a DC thing. All right. I've been hearing some rumblings. Here's some rumblings. That Henry Cavill might be cast in the MCU. Maybe. We don't want him.
No.
As Hyperion.
Oh, he's a nice guy. Leave him alone. What'd he do?
As Hyperion? That's what you said?
Yeah.
Elijah?
As Hyperion.
Okay,
it's a suit. No, the reason why that is a significant thing is because it's a Superman pastiche.
That is true. But I That's got to grow on me.
Look
dude.
at
That's
my
gotta grow on
face.
me.
Look at my.
I
I don't know. I don't know if I like it.
That's what I heard. That's what
I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it. But look, we like to thank you guys, man. Make sure that you like and subscribe. So when you see us go live, you'll definitely get that notification where you can check it out and rock with us. Man, I am so glad that you guys were here, and everybody who watches on the replay, definitely hit us up in the comments. Let us know if you have questions, you have some comments, some things that you want to talk about. As for me, as for myself, as for Max, as for G, as for Elijah, we appreciate you all for hanging out with us. We out of here. Peace.